A little bit of a weird one this time, but why not? Hello. It's Chase back at it again with another video, coming to you live at 12:16 a.m. as of this current recording. And we're gonna do something a little bit different here. Um, so as you can see up on my computer screen, sorry, what you're hearing in the background is me ripping paper. What you see up here is something called Topsters. It's a tier list making thing, and I thought, I'm a little late to this, but why the hell not? Why not do a tier list? Um, I wanted to do something kind of odd or random, but I think I'm gonna do more than one of these. But seeing as there's five each, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm going to give you the 25, my personal list, and I'll give you a reason why. We're going to rank 25 of the movies that I've seen throughout my life. It's a personal list, just to see where they all rank, and yeah, we're gonna rank. It's not a specific type of movie. It's not a specific series. We're just gonna do my personal favorites and where they rank from best to worst. Or, just personal best anyway. There's no real worst movie here. Um, yeah, let's get started. I already know what my all time favorite is. Um, Easily. Um, Mad Max Fury Road. Um, Somebody might ask me, like, well, why? Why Mad Max Fury Road? Um, it's I know it's a recent movie, but I was late to Mad Max, and my first one that I saw proper was Beyond Thunderdome. Um, really late. I started getting into it once the video game was announced, the 2015 video game, and I saw all the advertisements for this, and I just fell in love with it. Um, Proof that simple action movies can still be incredible in today's day and age. Um, Everything is done practically. The action is phenomenally well done. Everything is done like legitimately real. There's only about 20% of the movie that has any form of computer imagery in it, but all the crashes are real, all the stunts are real. Everybody's doing their own thing. It's just a very fucking well made movie, and I can't ever stop watching it. It's easily my favorite movie of all time right now. And it's a shame that we don't get movies like this anymore because it's just so damn good. You can take a minute to dissect the themes of whatever. It's a very simple yet contained story where you can choose to fill in the dots if you want. If you just want to watch it for dumb fun, you can. It's just well made. Everything is perfect. The soundtrack, the action, the set pieces, the cinematography. It's just it's so good. I I don't know why people don't a lot of people, especially in this day and age, don't hold it up, and I'm like, why? I still think it's the best action movie of the last 15 years. It is so good. Um, Second favorite movie. Um, this is another easy one. Alien. Um, S tier horror. Easily one of the most influential and significant horror films of the last 50 plus years, Ridley Scott cooked here. um, I am a little biased because I love the Alien series. It's my favorite horror franchise of all time. But it's just so good. It's so easy to ignore, the technical limitations of this movie when it was released in 1979, and they still managed to do it. Um, so good, incredible story, great, phenomenal suspense, great terror. Very, it makes you tense. That's the point. A very realistic setting. Um, it's very believable, even if it's set in the future. It's a very plausible circumstance. Like, what would these regular people do against something that's so much more, stronger, faster, dangerous? How would they combat that? Um, a lot of great subtle themes in there, and very incredible shots for the time. Soundtrack also fucking amazing. Um, yeah, no, easily my favorite horror film of all time, and honestly, I think I could swap these, either Mad Max or Alien, and I'd be content. Um, it's just so they're both so well made, but I think I could stick with these two being where they are. Um, easily, top two right there. Top, what's the third? Um, see, this is where it gets hard because I tend to interchange my movies a lot between what's the best and what isn't. Um, but it really just depends on my mood. The first two were rather easy for me to pick, but I think I know what I'm going with this next one. Um, hold on a minute. It's got to be A New Hope. Um, obviously, it's Star Wars. To me, the original is the best. Um, I remember I remember being at my grandparents' a whole bunch when I was a kid, and they had the original Star Wars trilogy. So they had A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and of all the movies I watched, of all the first original trilogy ones, I watched A New Hope the most. Um, the Death Star trench run is always going to be a sequence I sit back and enjoy. It's iconic, iconic characters, iconic story, iconic ships, planets, everything. It gave us one of the greatest movie franchises of all time. I don't think any movie can be as significant as Star Wars was. And this was in the same era when Alien was released. Like, the 70s had phenomenal movies. And it I'm incredibly I'm incredibly proud of the fact that I grew up watching these. I'm not I'm not a 70s or 80s baby, but I definitely these were childhood. Definitely Star Wars, easily up there. That's my third. Um, just full on nostalgia, iconic. Um, number four. Number four is a bit of a tricky one. I'm gonna have to pick a. I'm gonna have to pick a superhero movie here, and I think I know what I'm gonna pick. Got to be Spider-Man 2, easily. Um, there's no there's no other superhero film that really grabbed me like Spider-Man 2 did. It took the first movie and made it even better. It everything about Spider-Man 2 is better. The story is better. The the story's better, the way the characters are handled are better. Alfred Molina does an incredible job. The only reason he's not as good as Green Goblin is because Willem Dafoe did that good of a job. But even so, he's phenomenal. He's a great Doc Ock, and I don't think anyone could replace him. He's the Doc Ock. The action's better. Like, just everything about this movie is better than the original. Pretty much. And it makes me incredibly happy that this was an era where sequels just took things and made them better. Phenomenal movie. Childhood nostalgia's very biased there, but I love Spider-Man, so but I don't think there's ever been a better superhero movie than this. And then number 5 is another nostalgic bias. I know. I know I did it. This is a hot take and a half, but it's got to be Speed Racer. Childhood movie. This was the movie that defined me as a kid. I was big on racing as a child, so I wanted I was into cars. I was into racing, and when I saw the commercials for this, I went insane. And I begged my parents to go see this in theaters, and I wasn't able to, but I did get this on DVD, and to prove how much I love this, I don't have the disc now, but I watched it so much the fucking disc wore out. The disc no longer works. I watched it and rewatched it and rewatched it so many times that the damn disc failed. I think that should tell you how much I cared and watched this movie. I was very big on it. And is it a good movie generally? I think so. But you can definitely make an argument for why it is, viewed as a bad movie. I mean, it's very dumb. It's a very dumb movie. But that's the point. It was made to be stupid. It's based off a 60s anime, which was also very stupid. But the soundtrack's great, the racing sequences are great, the action sequences are great. I just love this movie. And the fact that it doesn't get as much love as it should is criminal. It's such a good movie to me, and even if you don't like it, I implore you give it a shot, because I actually really enjoy this. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen, and I will always defend it no matter how many haters there are. S tier. These are all my S tier films. So we got our top 5. Now we're gonna extend into the top 10 now. So top 6 or no, top 5 done. And here is my favorite war movie ever. This is a take, but hear me out. The reason this movie is so good to me is that I like the fact that it attempts to tell an obscure story. See, I'm big on World War II, especially the Pacific Theater. And there's a story, and it's about a man named Desmond Doss. And he was a medic in World War II who went to war without a single firearm on his person. And he saved about 75 to 95 people, I think that's the rough estimate, without a weapon. He saved and healed almost 100 soldiers without a single weapon on them. That's hella respect. And I'm outright willing to admit that this movie has issues. It's not entirely accurate, and the excuse they gave that they cut it out because they thought people wouldn't believe them is what or believe what he actually did is kind of bullshit. But I think this movie does an okay job. It's not the greatest, and I sure wouldn't put it in my top 5 there. I don't know why it's in the first 10, honestly, but I guess it's just a little bit of nostalgic shades. I love this movie. It's flawed for sure, and I wouldn't put it as my absolute favorite in the terms of, you know, movies, but I do think it's serviceable, and I don't think it's that bad. I'd give it a good B grade, which is probably why it's in the um, B tier, kind of A slash B tier. But I like it. It's a little bit of bias because I love war movies and I love Pacific Theater stuff, so maybe that's it. It gets a lot wrong, but I think I enjoyed it a little too much to really harp on it. But it's got its fans, and I'm happy that I can be part of that. It's not a terrible movie. Um, and we'll add to this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna swap this. So, funny thing that I mentioned that this one's my favorite. This one is my favorite, but I do think Letters is the better movie. Um, this is actually the second half of Flags of Our Fathers, which is set in the same place. This tells the Battle of Iwo Jima from the Japanese side, and I do think that both movies do an excellent job of portraying the battle, but this movie does it in a better because it feels more personal. It's in Japanese. It is told entirely from their perspective, so you get to see how they lived. The emotions are higher, the stakes feel higher, the action is great. It's rather accurate. It's not entirely because, Hollywood magic, but it's phenomenal. Ken Watanabe did such a great job playing Kuribayashi. Um, it's probably the perfect war movie to me. I will love this movie until I drop dead on the floor. It's phenomenal, and it's if you're big on war movies, go watch this. It's fucking amazing, and the fact that I don't hear enough people talking about it. It's criminal. Sorry you have to hear that noise. It's my microphone. My microphone and my cord don't get along. But anyway, yeah, no. Letters, absolutely phenomenal movie. Emotional stakes, soundtrack, cast. It's all there. It's amazing. Um, all right. So, oh yeah, and I did swap it with Hacksaw Ridge. I do like Hacksaw Ridge just a tad bit more, but I do think Letters is the better movie objectively. So it's a little bit of bias when I say that, but I know when a movie is better well made. So I could swap either of these, but I think I'll stick with this. Um, ooh, so what? That's five, six, seven. 6, 7. Terrible meme, but um, fuck it. We're gonna put another racing movie on here. Um. Okay, that's the only one. Okay, we'll go with it. We're going with Rush. Um, Rush is probably the greatest F1 movie ever created. That's not Grand Prix. I know a lot of people are gonna come at me in the comments like, What about Grand Prix?" Trust me, I know, and I don't dare bash Grand Prix. It's still an amazing technical achievement for what it managed to do, especially in 1966. It's got all my respect for it. But as a Formula One fan, I got to admit that Rush is a great movie. It's probably the best F1 movie ever made that, again, isn't Grand Prix. The shots are great. The music's great. The cast is immaculate. Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Bruhl, um, just overall phenomenal cast, great stakes. It's not all accurate, I know. As a Formula One fan, it frustrates me whenever they try to make hero like rivals look like villains, but I get it's done for Hollywood dramatic effect. Although personally, I wish they kept it exactly how it was in the real life rivalry between Hunt and Lauda. But it's just the vibes of it, the stakes, the races, the action. It's all phenomenal. Um, there's it's got flaws, but it's overall just a really well made movie. It easily Ron Howard cooked, and it's just a movie I hold in high regard. It's really fucking good. Um, Adding on that, we're going back to back on Ron Howard here. Apollo 13. Huge on space stuff. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Just look at the top two here. Just look at the second and third movie in my top 25 here. It's I'm big on space stuff, and when I first saw this, when I was, I want to say I was around 9 or 10, fell in love with it. Well made, great casting. Always loved Bill Paxton. Always loved Gary Sinise. Always love Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon. It it pulls you in. It's dramatic. It's well made, and that launch sequence is something that I'll always have stuck in my head. I quote it on the daily. But as I'm a big fan of space stuff, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and even more when it comes to dramatic disaster films. I know. So funny thing is that this movie here, Titanic, is so this the I have a funny story about the Titanic. So I was introduced to the Titanic through a book. It was a small children's book. I think it was about 50 pages long. And actually no, not even that. I think it was like 25 pages long. And it's short story about the sinking, and ever since then, like, this is what got me into history in the first place, was just reading on the ship and learning about it. And it's because of that I'm pursue like I attribute learning about the Titanic to what I'm doing today. I'm getting a history degree in college, and this is easily the reason. It's the subject that got me into it. So, but this movie also holds a distinction in my 10 here for being the the movie I've watched the most cumulatively. I have seen it 26 times, and I can't say that for any of the other movies I own. It holds that stat, and nothing has been able to dethrone it. Not even Mad Max Fury Road has been able to dethrone Titanic in how many times I've seen it. It's extremely well made. The costume design, time accurate, you know, outfits. The sinking was a fucking technical masterpiece for what it was able to achieve in 1997. They made almost an entire mock up of the ship, by the way. Um, all the stunts were done in real time. The cast is great, phenomenal. It was my first Leonardo DiCaprio movie, by the way. A little biased, but phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. One, and you know, I do agree that the romance stuff is a little unnecessary, but since it's in service to the main, disaster part of the movie, I think it works. I don't think it was needed, but the more I look back at it, I do think it's a very well made film. And, that small gripe aside, I would still put it in my top 10. Easy. So, these are my 10, my total top 10 of all time. Little bit of a weird list, personally, but these are my top 5, and then these are my bottom 5. This is my total 10 of all time. Easy. Um, so this is where it gets a little confusing, because now we're going into the 15 range. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because my movies are sporadic. I haven't seen every movie out there. But I don't mind. I don't mind it at all. I think this will be good. So, you know what? We'll do something. Um, what's a good movie? Hmm. 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 Yeah. Okay. So, this is going to be blasphemy to a lot of World War II fans out there. And I understand. I understand. I totally get it. But please understand that it is only here because it was really hard for me to swap the top 10 out. Like, it is not here because I hate it. I promise. This movie, Saving Private Ryan, is easily in my top 3 to top 5 World War II movies. Very simple yet somewhat emotional plot. The opening sequence alone is what carries it. I feel like everything else is great, but this is all like for the first 15 to 20 minutes. You watch Saving Private Ryan for the Omaha Beach sequence. It's what you watch it for. They literally set up a PTSD hotline because of how realistic the opening sequence was, because it pretty much portrayed accurately what a lot of people on Omaha Beach felt. During that landing, it was extremely violent. And putting this here seems like total sacrilege. I get it. But it is not here because it's bad. It is here because I can't feasibly pick out the top 10 and swap any of them. I can't. Like, it's really hard for me not to without a little bit of nostalgia shades. But it's like, this movie is excellent. Easily, like, in the recommendations for World War II. One of my favorite war movies of all time. Easily up there. Bar none. And speaking of war, I know. Very recent. Actually came out this year. Um, the sole reason it gets up on this high is the sole purpose of as an as an experience act is the most realistic firefight I've ever seen. It's you watch this for the experience of being in a real gunfight in Iraq. Now, obviously, don't think, oh well, I could do that. Not a lot of people could. This is a very graphic movie. This is a very dark movie. This movie does not pull punches. It is nothing but pure sound. There's no like soundtrack. It's just all this. It's all sounds of war. It's explosions. It's gunfire. It's people screaming. It is an excellent experience, and I am I am incredibly privileged that I got to see this in a theater. Because that was easily the best way to experience it. This movie was amazing. Cast is phenomenal. It's based on a real engagement. The director was there. It's actually based on his account. And it's just extremely well done. It's a very well made movie, and it's the experience, the auditory, the visual, the very experience of it that carries it. It's a simple movie, but it does such a good job. Shit. Oppenheimer. That is always going to be in my top 15 no matter what. Oppenheimer as a look into his life is pretty good. Cillian Murphy, incredible pick for J. Robert Oppenheimer. He does such a good job at conveying Oppenheimer's, persona. Excellent acting, excellent soundtrack, excellent visuals. The sound design, I don't even want to get into it. It is I hold this movie as having the best theater experience I've ever been in for the sound design alone. The nuke, so the spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the nuke goes off, the Trinity test, and it's pure silence for like 25 to 30 seconds while there's like a small music tone and then Oppenheimer quotes, and then it goes back to silence, and then the shockwave hits and you hear the explosion. It scared the shit out of me, and it scared my friends that were with me because I paid for them, and I paid for them because we all wanted to go see it, but it scared the hell out of us, and I don't think a single movie can convey that sense of just suddenly being scared. It is so well made, and I do consider it to be Christopher Nolan's best film. Um, Only other one probably Interstellar, but yeah, no, very great movie, and I will defend it to the death. I think it's phenomenal. Um, this is another one that goes in my top 15. Um, Very hard to kind of interchange that with top 10. But these two were about a week apart. That just goes to show you how good 2023 was for movies. Um, Excellent movie. Um, took everything about Into the Spider Verse, made it better. Casting phenomenal, action phenomenal, animation absolutely top notch. Soundtrack phenomenal. The twists and turns you go through in this movie are amazing. Like, no, I don't think there's a Spider-Man movie besides 2 that had my jaw actively on the floor with the amount of twists that I got from this. It's so good. Easily the best animated Spider-Man film. Into the Spider-Verse comes very close. I mean, I know they're both essentially the same movie, and then, Across the Spider-Verse is just a sequel, but it's so good. It's just so good. Um, I don't want to wait another 2 years for that, but what are you gonna do? Um, Unfortunately, you can't really do anything about it. You gotta wait. But, it happens. It happens. Hmm. Yep. Gonna put this on here. 15. Um, so this is the 15th movie. This goes here solely because of nostalgia. I loved Cars as a kid. I mean, evidence is right here and here. But this is the movie that got me into, like, tuning. So I was big on, Brian Supra and, seeing Dom's RX-7 and the Eclipse. It's just so good. Perfectly captures 2000s car culture. It's just, I don't need to say anything else. If you were around for this, you're 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 cultured. So I'm gonna throw an oddball in here. Where is it? No, it's not where I think it is. Oh well. I can do that though. um, Favorite Disney movie right here. Atlantis: The Lost Empire, easily. Um, it it gets that spot as my favorite Disney movie because it's it's very fun. It's very fun. It's such a simple plot, but it works. It's an adventure story, and I always liked movies that made you feel like you were going on a big adventure. This is what I think captured that Disney magic of adventure very well. I think it did it the best. Michael J. Fox, Cree Summer, everybody did a phenomenal job. I love the cast, I love the characters, I love the animation. Everything just felt fun. It's a grand adventure, and it gets that high for that alone. Absolutely incredible. While we're on that topic, so I know that this could reasonably be in my top 10. Again, this is really hard. This isn't like a personal, like, this isn't worst to best to worst or anything like that. This is my personal list, so things can change throughout this entire thing. Aliens. Um, Took everything about the first one, ramped it up. It's got the tension, it's got the suspense, but it also has phenomenal action, amazing one liners. I like to keep this one handy for close encounters. Easily my favorite quote in Aliens. um, Action is great. Iconic weapons: M41 pulse rifle, M37, shotgun, heirloom that Hicks uses. It's just so good. Alien Queen fight in the power loader. Get away from her, you bitch. It's just iconic. Great fucking movie. It's such a fun time. going back to back on the 80s and 90s movies for sure. Terminator 2. Once again, taking everything the first movie did and made it better. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I will die on that hill. So, yeah, great movie. Great movie. And, yeah, first time seeing it, pretty fun. Really fucking fun. Um, Soundtrack, iconic. And, yeah, just a fun movie to watch. An example of stupid movies being excellent in the 90s. This was very early. It's just really well made. Once again, Blade Runner. Phenomenal. Um, it gets that spot for the presentation alone. I love Blade Runner. It's easily one of the most influential sci-fi movies ever made. Excellent visuals, absolutely god tier soundtrack. Very interesting themes. The villain is great. There's just so much to like about Blade Runner, and I know it's a little slow. It's a very slow movie, but it really is worth watching for that. It's just so good in telling you a good story. That's its biggest strength. It's not high on action. It's not too simple, but you watch it and it gets you thinking. It's really interesting. And I can't fault it for that. It's easily one of the greatest sci-fi films ever made. I will die on that hill. It is an excellent film. Um, let's do another. Oh no! Oh, I backed out. Did I mean to do that? Okay, no, I fucked up. We'll keep that as a blooper. But hey, the list is still here, so. um. Hmm. This one gets a little hard. We're almost there. I'm trying to think. Hmm. Snapping to get attention. Hmm. What's a good one? What's a good one? This is really hard. Like I said, ranking 25 movies is really hard for me to do because I don't have an exact favorite one ever made. It just kind of interchanges. I know my first two, but then after that, or my first three, but then after that, it's just kind of interchangeable. But you know what? We're gonna be a little bold here. Um, what's the movie I just had pop into my head? Damn it! I just had it pop into my head. Shit. Hmm. Oh. Which one? Transformers '07. Easily. Iconic. Grew up with this. This is what introduced me to Transformers. Then I went back and experienced all of the old stuff and whatnot. But this is the movie that got me. This is the movie that got me into Transformers. Iconic, instantly iconic. Arrival to Earth always hits, even 18 years later. Excellent movie, fun. It's really stupid, but that's, you know, dumb fun movies are very hard to find these days. It's just really fun. The CGI was incredible for a movie made in 2007, and that was best Megatron. So I will die on that hill. Megatron became a bitch after Transformers '07. So easily, easily, you know, it's up there for sure. Um, hmm, hmm. Ah, damn it. Um, what is a good? What is a good? Um, oh, I know. Inglorious Bastards is definitely going on this list. This movie is pure stupid. It is Tarantino at his peak. Um, Great cast, great humor, great, just a fun movie to watch. It's good because it succeeds at being fun. It's very dumb, but it's kind of just meant to just take you on a fun ride. It's so, it's just so good. It's over the top, it's dumb, but that's what makes it just so excellent. It's a phenomenal movie. And, you know, Aldo Rain being the badass that he is, always fun to quote. Always fun to quote some good Aldo Rain. This is where I can rank more World War II movies. So we're going to go off of probably the saddest one I've seen. It's not on here? You fuckers. Schindler's List isn't on here? God damn it. Hold on. Are they fucking with me? It's not on here. God damn it. Well, that means I gotta find something else. Uh, hmm. Trying to think. Mm, yeah. Cars is great, but it's not in my top 25. Hmm. We're gonna go back to back on Star Wars. So actually, you know what? Hold on. No, let me swap that out. There we go. Revenge of the Sith. Second best Star Wars movie in my opinion, easily. Um, Great conclusion to the prequel trilogy. Excellent action sequences. The soundtrack is just ugh. Anakin v Obi-Wan. Anakin's betrayal. Uh, Battle of the Heroes. It's just so good. Excellent. The greatest lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars. Um, just excellent. Fucking excellent. And to all those that hate the prequels, fuck you. I'm just kidding. Um, but I will defend this movie. I don't care that the plot is stupid. I don't care that the acting can be pretty bad. It's just fun. It's a fun Star Wars movie. And easily one of the best. It's some of the best Star Wars has to offer. My eyes. And while we're on the topic of Star Wars, we're just going to rank the next one that was already on here. We're putting Rogue One on this list. Excellent, excellent anthology movie. High stakes, phenomenal casting, dark tone. It does everything I want a Star Wars movie to be, and it does an amazing job at creating the circumstances that these are just regular people involved in things, like regular people involved in the Rebel Alliance versus, your average Jedi or Sith. It does an excellent job. It's emotional. It's high stakes. It's just great. Great. And plus that scene with Vader in the hallway gets me chills every fucking time. So good. Easily. I'm gonna go bold here. I'm gonna be very bold if it's here. El Camino. Definitely up there. I'm a big fan of Aaron Paul. Um, and I'm trying to get into Breaking Bad. I know it sounds like sacrilege that I would watch this before finishing Breaking Bad, but since I was spoiled Breaking Bad, it doesn't really help. I'm trying to forget my memories of it so I can watch it proper, but El Camino was excellent. Great way to close Jesse's story out. Aaron Paul does a phenomenal job, and I just it's phenomenal by it's a great close to Breaking Bad. It does everything that it was meant to do, and it's great, phenomenal. Not a lot to say on that. And then these, the last one. Last one is always difficult. Um, Actually, no. A thought just came into my mind about El Camino. Never mind. I'm gonna swap this because there's a movie I just had the thought of that overtakes El Camino. What was it? Fuck! I just had it. Oh, um, I just realized. I know exactly which one too. Got to be the Winter Soldier. I guess I'll explain real quick why. Best MCU movie, easily. Best Captain America, by the way. Um, Excellent fight sequences, dark tone, great storytelling. Everything felt like you don't know what is. You know what I mean? Easily one of the best. Um, Easily one of the best superhero movies of all time. Sebastian Stan, Chris Evans, everything just felt personal in this. And I don't have a lot to say about this because my thoughts on movies kind of degrade as they go on because it's really hard for me to say like how I feel about certain movies. but that's an excellent one. And then the final one. Oof. Ooh. I'm gonna go bold here. Again. Fuck, I can't spell bridge. Um, A Bridge Too Far. Easily the greatest war movie of the 70s. Um, Extremely accurate, great battle sequences, great cast, everything did right. There's a lot of weird shit. A lot of the tanks look inaccurate as fuck, but you know, excellent movie for the time. Sean Connery, great. Everything just felt it felt like a war, and it's one of the few war movies I repeat watched a lot as a kid. Always fun to watch. Great representation of Operation Market Garden, and it's one I highly recommend. So this is my overall list. It's really hard for me to swap anything out of this top five here. This is pretty much locked, but the rest of this can be kind of interchanged. None of these are bad. These are all phenomenal movies that I would watch over and over and over again. None of these are bad at all. These are my personal favorites, but these all can interchange, except these five. These five are pretty much locked. Um, but yeah. Anyway, that's my first tier list I've ever done, and it's gonna be a movie tier list. So let me know if you guys want me to do more of these. I'll probably do more of them just for the sake of brevity. Add some more on there. But I'd love to do this, and I thought, yeah, why not? I'll give my first tier list a shot. So, yeah. You guys have a good day. Take care out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.